Hello. Question of the morning. Do you believe that you have deep cellular intelligence coded in every cell, every atom of your being, every atom of your body? Or do you doubt that because of the disease that you see around you, or maybe that you're experiencing in your own self, that it isn't possible that health is coded in your cells? It's kind of like Einstein's question. One either believes and must make a decision that the universe is benevolent and intelligent or not. And of course, each of us have to decide about that, right? So, sorry, I just had to check on something on the Facebook Live. So I hear you. And while it's true that there seems to be more disease than health, especially right now, what if it isn't the whole truth? What if what if the intelligence that is coded in our cells is knocking on our door and asking us to consider expanding our perception and how we think about what is true about health and wholeness? So we're going to talk about all of that in our time today. So, and also how to activate your birthright of health. A warm hello to you listening today and on the replay. I really appreciate your joining me. It's always great to be with you. Be sure and add any comments or questions, emojis, any of that kind of stuff, just to sort of, make it feel like we're in a real conversation, if you will. And if we've not yet met, I'm Laurie Morse. I'm a 30-year practitioner of Chinese medicine and the director of the Sacred Health Academy, where we teach spirit-centered women who may be struggling with fatigue, disease, pain, and stress, how to awaken this birthright of health that we just mentioned so that she can live with energy, wholeness, ease in her body, peace, and purpose. That is a real thing, and each of us must claim that in order to have it. You may have noticed that we have a cultural current of disease in our midst. So I think of that as like a raging river, if you will, with strong currents. And I'm not just talking about our current scenario of COVID. I've been watching for 30 years now disease just ticking up. It's been on the rise, and this is in the face of supposed first world and state of the art treatments. It doesn't add up in my heart and in my mind. So I have to ask myself, I do ask myself constantly, what does it mean for a human being? What does a human being need to be healthy and whole? And I don't know that I have all the answers. I wouldn't claim that, but I do have a foundational piece. And this is um, my offering, what I am to impart in this world. I know that in my heart and soul. So it's like if we were comparing this cultural river of disease to whitewater rapids. If you've ever gone whitewater rapiding, I don't even know if that's how you say it. You know that they classify the rivers, right? It's like from 1 to 6. 1 is really easy, and 6 is really very difficult, and it depends on the rapids themselves, how intense they are, water levels, and degree of danger and difficulty. So I would say that right now, in our current state of health, that we are a solid class 4, straddling almost a class 5, right? So we're in some degrees of danger when it comes to our health. And I don't mean to be an alarmist when I say that, but we have to open our eyes and start making different decisions in order to cultivate and claim this birthright that is ours to be healthy and whole. I've always talked about what it means to get out of the fast moving current of disease. So let's do that a little bit now. Like I have done that myself, and I've, guided many, many other women to do the same thing, to just get into a different river, if you will. I mean, I say it that way because it's just easy to see in one's one's eye, that there's not only one river available. Right? There's a lot of rivers that lead to the ocean, if we just think about Earth, right? So the first thing to know is that our current system is set up for disease. That's just the way it is. It, all of our commercials and ads are about all the medications that you could take based on these terrible diseases, and be careful and talk to your doctor. And in fact, when you go to the doctor, it's more like a scratching and clawing, if you will. I mean, that maybe that's dramatic to say that way, but the system that the doctor, the setup is to look for a problem, look for a disease, do blood tests, do MRIs, do scans. And I need you to hear me, because I'm going to say something. And if you don't hear this part, you will assume that I am not in favor of our system. I am. I just don't think it's as complete as we are designed as human beings to have at our disposal. So there's nothing inherently wrong with ruling out a problem or finding a disease in order to treat it. But how can I say this? What I've watched change over the decades is that we've gone from most people being generally healthy and kind of trusting in their bodies, right? To there are health problems lurking everywhere. And I don't know very many people who trust their body, who trust the intelligence of their body to heal. And I will say to you that the healing, the deep personal medicine that we're talking about also in forms of cellular intelligence, is inside everyone, right? But we don't trust that anymore because of this very, this class 4/5 rapid current cultural river that we're being tossed about upon. Every chronic disease has increased exponentially in the past 20 to 30 years. So that's the state of affairs. All of this in light of the fact that I've just said it, but I'm going to say it again because for some reason we have to hear this multiple times for it to sink in, right? All this change in chronic disease over the last decades is in light of the fact that every human body is ridiculously intelligent and knows how to heal. Your mind may not know how to heal. Your mind may not trust that that's true, but your body's wisdom, if you will tap into it, if you will give yourself permission to activate and awaken it, it will walk you in that direction, right? But we can't be going in two different directions at the same time. That's just a law of life. And I realize it's hard to hear this amidst the roaring rapids of disease, in and around us. But what if we're being called to remember our wholeness in the face of lack of wholeness that is seemingly, I hope, at its peak, right? So I want to ask you, I've said this before, so you might have heard this come out of my mouth, but again, let's go with the idea that we learn through repetition, and that is true of every human mind, by the way. Did you know that you have 50 trillion cells in your body? It's a lot of cells. And inside every single one of those 50 trillion cells, so now let's take just one of those 50 trillion cells. Inside of that one cell, you have 50 trillion atoms, and that's true of all your cells. And inside of every one of those atoms is an electron. And that electron is coded for health, wholeness. It's intelligent. It's the intelligence in every cell of your body. And it is waiting, right? Like we're the ones individually and collectively that have to activate that intelligence. And we have to tap and be guided by the blueprint of that intelligence, if you will. It's so much wholeness, it's incalculable. Is that how you say it? Incalculable. But yet humans tend to do is we narrowly focus. We hone in on finding a problem. And again, I'm not saying that's bad if there is one. But if there isn't, or if we don't want to over-energize something that could easily be brought back to center if we didn't, give it all of our energy. That is how energy works, right? We will always find a problem if we're looking for one. It's just a law of energy in this life. Another law of energy is that your body, you got to hear this. Another law of energy is that your body is sacred. Every particle of your being is sacred. And the way to be healthy and whole is to make your choices from the foundation of truth that you are sacred. And if you aren't quite sure how to do that or how to get there, I get it. It's okay. It is a bit of a journey. It's not like we flip a switch and go. I mean, for some people, maybe that's the case. The switch gets flipped and they're like, I get it. Ah. But that doesn't seem to be the case for everybody. We have to sort of, we build the muscle and we teach ourselves with every breath, day in and day out, one foot in front of the other, ideally with guidance and in a community of like-hearted people, because it makes it a whole lot easier, and it cultivates a whole exponential level of trust in this, that this is in fact true. So if you don't have the level of health that you prefer, then claiming this birthright of sacred health, claiming yourself as sacred and making choices that walk you into that level of health is what you must do. I feel like there's kind of like a collective vice grip that's been building, if you will, for human beings to decide. It's like we're at a choice point, we're at a fork in the road. And we're either, kind of so to speak. I mean, of course I say these things loosely because it's kind of hard to talk about some of these things. I try to pick the best analogies and whatnot so that it can form a picture in our mind and we can go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's my hope anyway from my heart. We're at a fork in the road and we either choose health and wholeness, we either take that path because that's the direction that's heading, or disease. It can't be both. I mean, it's always sort of been the case, but I feel like these are very two different rivers. There's the river of health and there's the river of disease. And we have to pick one because we can't really be on both rivers. I mean, it feels like we've sort of been straddling the rivers a little bit. Maybe in our mind that's how we're doing it. But it's coming to a very clear decision-making point where we're either going to cultivate our inborn health or we're going to manage disease. We've been managing disease now for a couple of decades, and it doesn't seem to be getting us any healthier. So then we have to say, well, I've tried that. I got to try this because there doesn't seem to be, like this isn't working. That's what we do as human beings. We go, okay, tried this for a while. It isn't working on any given subject, not just the health thing now. Let me try this. This is now being presented to me. Let me give this a try because I will have nothing to lose in cultivating my sacred self as a foundational principle from which I make my choices to become the healthy person that is coded in every one of my cells, right? They're two distinct energies. They're two distinct paths. They're two distinct set of choices. And it's not easy, I realize, teasing out what's healthy and what's not in the sea of information. Sometimes I actually wonder if it isn't designed to be confusing. And I watch women do this all the time. That I can tell when someone is in that sea of confusion, that sea of overwhelming information. And even though she's doing several things right and good for her health, that sea, if you will, or that current is so consuming and overwhelming that it's hard to actually get past a certain set of things that we know to be healthy, like let's just say exercising regularly or eating more greens or something like that. It's like, well, then why am I not healthy yet? Why am I not healthier? I'm doing these things. But doing those things in the current of disease isn't the same thing as changing rivers. That's a very clear distinction. We have to change rivers, and you can do that. You're allowed to do that, right? So anyway, I watch this in women all the time. She feels like she's doing all the right things in this river of disease. So then she just stops doing more because she's like, well, what good is it? I'm trying my best. I can't do anymore, and I understand that. I've been there. Most of us have, actually. But staying in this river and doing nothing else is not the best choice, right? It's not going to get you more health, right? You how else can I say this about continuing using this river analogy? Um, if you want the level of health that is yours, if even if you doubt because of the cultural current, right? But there's some place inside of you that knows that it shouldn't actually be this way. Then I really I'm going to ask you, I'm going to call you forth and ask you to get out of this river and to get in this river, right? And begin. I'm just inviting you to be willing to do some things different, starting with getting in this river, and then it'll be easier actually to do some things differently. And this I'm asking you to do for the sake of your precious mind, body, heart, and soul, because that's kind of like the alignment that we are being called to at this point in time. And if any one of those pieces are out of alignment, then it's harder for us to sort of stake our claim to this birthright of health. All of those pieces have to be part of our decision. So I'm extending you a formal invitation for you to consider becoming an exclusive member of the Sacred Health Academy, where you'll learn everything you need to bring your mind, body, and spirit into a healthy and strong alignment, and to and that and being in that alignment and walking this path, being in this river, you automatically walk yourself into health and wholeness. You can't not. It's again, that's a law of energy and life, right? So I'm encouraging you to not put this off, to not wait, to not stay frozen in the confusion and the overwhelm. And just by all means, don't do nothing, because that will just keep getting you more of what you have. If that's okay with you, then, I honor you. But if you definitely want more than what you currently have, then the invitation is extended to you from my heart to yours. It's kind of like we have to give ourselves permission, and we have to make a clear decision. The decision is, I'm going to go ahead and leave this river. I'm going to jump in this river. This river, not only, I don't even have to jump in it. There's a canoe right there waiting for me, or what do you call those? Kayak, or a kayak. They're right there. There's a bunch of them on the edge. All you have to do is step in and then let yourself float down the river with the help of some natural, nature, right? And this clear decision is to feel good. Like, we have to give ourselves permission for this, because we have a weird programming that can override our innate cellular intelligence, and I see that it does in a lot for people. But we have to give ourselves permission to feel good, to have energy and vitality, to have a sense of peace, to have a clear mind, to access healthy nutrition for ourselves and all the things that means, right? To be a part of a community of like-hearted women who are getting healthier every day. You have to give yourself permission, and in order to excavate from every cell in your being that intelligence, that blueprint of health that's coded in you already. It is a personal medicine that is yours by nature of having a body. And I know how to help you activate it and get access to it. So I have in the comments, I'll put it in the comments too, but in the description is what I meant to say. There's the URL to go visit and learn more about the Sacred Health Academy. I highly encourage you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. That's what just about every member says. Like, they had no idea what they were going to get from this journey when they said yes initially. I have slews and slews of women who tell me that. So I am inviting you to be one of those women. So let me know if you have any questions, if an aha came to mind, if you have anything else that you would like to say about what I just babbled about. I don't really mean it's babble, but I don't know. I say that sometimes because I can get onto babbling. I could talk about this subject till midnight, as I've probably said before in the past. So I invite you to become a member of the Sacred Health Academy for the sake of your health, mind, body, and spirit, which, whether you know it or not, It does matter to you to do that. Of course, it matters to you as an individual and at the level of your personal well-being, but it also matters to the world. Healthy people make a healthy world. Unhealthy people make for an unhealthy world. And I think that that's not um, too terribly hard to notice just by looking out into the world. A sacred health journey is yours to take. And it's my job to make sure you don't miss your heart calling you home to health one step at a time. On this path gets you more energy, less disease, more health, less pain, less stress and worry, a nutritional lifestyle that you've been trying to make work, and best of all, your birthright of peace, wholeness, and purpose, all without spending ridiculous amounts of money and time, especially because it's your design. It's my design. I know that now. Like without it's unequivocal in my knowing, in my inner knowing, that every cell in my being is coded for health. It's my design. I've activated it. I live it. I love it. And I share it. And I'm inviting you to join in that experience too. You will not be disappointed. Nobody is disappointed when they realize that they activate their innate birthright of health and wholeness. It's what every heart craves. So thank you for being you and for your willingness to tend to this. And be well, be sacred, and I will see you next week. I hope to see you inside the Academy as well.